Which, firstly, I want to apologize for not doing a video for a long time. Christmas Day, I had an incident with a cup of coffee on my laptop. Luckily, me and my dad used the same computer pretty much, and he gave me his, and I'm starting fresh. But I wanted to start a series where I talk about my my introduction to Mortal Kombat, why it means so much, um, and what this collection means to me overall. So I've seen Headlock Gaming do his. His video was over an hour. He mentioned that he wanted to do his video in parts. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna sit here and talk for an hour about each about I'm not gonna talk for an hour about one game. I'm just going to go over each game that means a lot to me and tell you my story with it. So, first of all, I want to warn people that some of this story might have some trigger warnings for people. If you've grown up, in a broken home or had an abusive parent, um, there will be parts of my story that have to deal with those things. So, if this is not your type of video, I completely understand. But I feel like this is important for me to do so that you guys know more about me and my history with the Mortal Kombat franchise. So, most people start with the arcade. I'm gonna talk about the arcade while I go through my personal favorite version of MK1, which is the Sega Genesis version. This is the version that I played over at my neighbors' houses, and eventually I borrowed their games so much that I didn't give theirs back, and they had to buy another copy. But we'll get there. Um, but yes, while we talk about my experiences with MK1 Genesis, um, that's what we'll be playing today. Not gonna focus too hard on the quality of the playthrough. This is more about the story, my story coming up with it. Um, so when I was younger, um, I would say I had a lot of friends in school, but I didn't bring friends over to my house or meet up with them a lot uh after school because I didn't know what kind of condition my mother would be in. She was really, really bad alcoholic, and um, at times I would be abused. I had my Sega Genesis that I would run into my room and avoid the verbal and sometimes physical abuse that I would endure. And the people that I would hang out with were my neighbors, and they had this game, and this game at the time was stirring up a lot of controversy. People had never seen any type of video violence like this in the arcades, unless you played, Narc, which Narc does get mentioned in the documentary of a portion of this collection. Excuse me, what the hell? Oh, I know what I didn't do. Excuse me, hold on. You guys are gonna see me do something. Um, so, um, the first time I had seen MK was going to the arcade um, after a good week of school. Um, I had a choice. Do I go to the arcade or do I rent a game from Palmer Video it was back then, showing how old I am. Um, well, obviously we're gonna restart. But oftentimes I would choose the arcade. And I would go there initially to play Street Fighter 2. But one day as I was leaving, I had seen a demo of Kano fighting fighting Liu Kang on the track mode, and I had seen the heart rip fatality, or I might have gotten the order wrong. I might have seen somebody playing it and somebody do the heart rip fatality. And I remember being scared and enthralled all at the same time. Mind you, at the time I was, what, 5, 6 years old. I was born in '86. This came out in '92. So yeah, about 5, 6. Um, and when I heard the game was coming home, I wanted it, of course. My mother, however, at the time, was very worried about the kind of games that I was being exposed to, so she didn't want me playing Mortal Kombat. And I went over to my neighbor's house, who I will not mention their names out of respect for them. I do not know what they're doing these days, if they're still around or whatnot. I hope they are. Um, but I didn't put this on very easy. It's okay though. I'm just talking. Anyhow, I had gone to their house, and this was after the whole Mortal Monday thing with the crazy ad campaign of the kid in the street screaming Mortal Kombat at the top of his lungs, right? And I saw that they had the game, and the only chance I would get to play it is to go over there. So there were a few weeks at a time where I was over there so frequently, I sometimes would hang out and have dinner over there. And sometimes, my mom would ask me, well, why was I going over there so much? Well, there were two reasons. Number one, my neighbors at the time were the only people that I had to socialize with after school. And I didn't want to tell her that, hey, I'm going over there to avoid you, because that's a sucky thing to hear as a parent, right? Um, I also didn't want her to know that I was going over there to play this, but that's what I was doing. And so I'd hang out over there, and one day I was wearing a thick enough jacket, and I remember this jacket well because the jacket was too heavy for me. It would make my body just go to the right naturally because it was a big, thick, heavy pleather. I'm not gonna say it was leather because I don't think it was. It was a thick pleather jacket, and it would make me lean to the right. And so I got the idea. I spoke with my neighbors. I said, could I maybe borrow this for a few days? And they were cool with it. I kept it in my jacket, and my mom was wiser, and I played this from the time I got up in the morning until the time I went to bed at night. And I borrowed it so much um, that I ended up keeping their copy, and they ended up getting one of their own. Um, Actually, though, my first ever experience with the home version, though, was not with the neighbors. It was I had rented it from Palmer Video. It was one of the times where I chose to go to the video store over the arcade. And that was the first time I rented the home version of Mortal Kombat 1. Now, when I owned Mortal Kombat 1, um I was so scared of the logo and the cartridge that I would ask my dad to remove the cartridge from my bedroom at night so I could sleep. But it was one of those things where I couldn't stay away from playing the game, right? So I was scared, yet I just wanted to play. So, you know, it was a weird relationship that I had with Mortal Kombat 1. Um, I guess what Raiden said in the movie, about Mortal Kombat not being about death, but rather the preservation of life, is true because Mortal Kombat saved my life in many different ways. It helped me escape the reality and the anger and the pain that I was dealing with at the hands of an abusive parent, and I'm grateful for the franchise. I'm grateful for the people that made it, and if I ever had the chance to say thank you, I would. Um, and so that is why this collection, this this whole thing, this wonderful collection, and I know people are down on Digital Eclipse for one thing or another. And that's fine. It's your prerogative. If you want to sit there and you want to just rage bait constantly about how many shortcomings that this has had, because it's had its shortcomings. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. It has had its shortcomings. Um, how long it took us to get lobbies. Um, Even now the lobbies are kind of getting bogged down by people with really, really bad connections. Um, but if you want to harp on that, good on you. I'm choosing to be more positive and open about this. This collection means the world to me. I got it 3 times. My Switch copy was sent to me by the lovely people at Atari and Digital Eclipse. You guys are awesome. You've done the Elder Gods work in getting these old games online playable and making them relevant again, I would say. My second copy was for the PS5. That's my main console. Um, and I just wanted to have it for posterity's sake because on the Switch version, you don't get MK4 without downloading a day one patch, and it's on the disc. So first of all, the day one patch thing, not a big deal for me. I've been patching my games since the PlayStation 3 days. We're all right. If you think that's a problem, I mean, have you not been playing video games for the past, I'd say, 15, 20 years or so? But regardless of that, yes, that's why this collection means so much. It brought me back to a time where I can remember where my life was easier and I was so much happier. And the next game I'll be talking about in the next video is Mortal Kombat 2 for the Sega Genesis. I can't wait to talk to you guys about that. Um, I don't have any particular story that sticks out, but MK2 on the Genesis was my um actually I'm gonna do the arcade version of 2 because that's the first time I encountered MK2 and I encountered it in a very strange way. So we're gonna talk about that next, but that's in the next video. Let me know your memories of the original Mortal Kombat. Let me know what this collection means to you. If you like the collection, if you don't like the collection, tell me why in both answers. Um, yeah, this collection is great for me, and gonna keep playing it regardless of what other people might think. Um, I'm OHD. Always remember, as long as you have 5 fingers and a belief in yourself, you can do whatever you set your mind to. Once again, I'm sorry for the delay in videos. There will be no more delay. I've got a couple things pre-recorded coming down the pipeline. Um, so you'll be seeing much more videos uploaded by me. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.